Okay, so what you see here is we've got a aftermarket third party. I think this looks like it's a Putco uh, light that is no longer functioning. You can see all the moisture in the light itself that is obviously caused some damage. It looks like when this got put on, you can see this side here is cracked, it's loose. I imagine water got in the casing, and that's what's caused this damage and caused this light to no longer function. There was some leaking here under the light inside the cab as well, and I suspect that that all came from here. So we're going to replace this particular light that was replaced once already with the factory. So when we pull this out, there's only two screws, a screw here and a screw here, just a regular old Phillips head screwdriver. These are 2-inch tin screws that are in here, number 8 tin screws if you need to replace these, which we're going to replace them when we get our next light on. So we'll take this off here, and looks like this one's not completely unscrewed. One thing to remember: do not use a drill or power screwdriver of any sort on here. The plastic on these housings cracks fairly easily, and if you do get this cracked or broken, you're going to get moisture in here like you did with this, and it's not going to last very long, as you can see on this particular one here. So the screws, like I said, they're Phillips head, number 2 Phillips head screws. They just go in these holes. There's a couple clips here. These are 2-inch long, and they're number 8 screws if you need to replace those. Simple stuff. This is supposed to be the water seal that keeps out your moisture between your light and your truck. This may need to be replaced. We're going to clean this up and replace this on this truck here, so we get a good seal and we don't have any more moisture leak. One thing to note: when you have a factory replacement that's all LED like this one was, you're only going to have a single wiring harness coming out of the housing of the light. The factory wire harness has 3, and we'll show you that here in just a second. But if you replace this with an LED light, then you'll only have the one, and you'll remove the factory wiring. If you replace it, that's going to have the 2 standard light bulbs. You'll have a 3-end wire harness, and we'll show you that with the new one that we've got. These wiring harnesses are pretty straightforward. They're plug and play. You just push the clip down here, and they just pull right out. You may need to get a little screwdriver to push in there to push that clip down. Most of the time you can just push on it with your thumb. It's pretty straightforward. You just push right down there. It lowers this notch here. This is the notch. You just push right here. I don't know if you can see that, but that just pops it right out. Super simple. Done. Take the old one, which this is going in the garbage, and you may toss it, and then you're ready to start cleaning up and replace with the new one. Okay, so the unboxing of this new light that we've got the old light, we've got the wiring harness for the new light. As you can see, this is a 3-wire harness. So you may take off the old light, look at here and go, I don't understand, I only got one cord, one thing that plugs in. Well, that's because this old wiring harness probably got taken off with the factory light and either tossed or stayed with the factory light, one way or the other. So that is most likely what happened. Then if I were a proper gaming boy, 7 years old, open a new toy from the toy store, it shakes just a little bit. Let's see what's inside. That kid makes millions of dollars. I don't make millions of dollars on YouTube. Now, that's not to say if you don't want to pay me $1 million, I wouldn't take it. Because this unboxing is essentially toys for us older boys. Packing, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the heart of the matter here. See what we're going to put on this truck. can't believe that kid makes millions of dollars opening toys and then plays with them, and that's it. Ridiculous. Installation manual. You can see it's a single sheet of paper. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This is not a very hard do. Just on a scale of 1 to 10 difficulty, 10 being the hardest, 1 being the easiest, this is most certainly a 1. So you get your new light out. That's what this looks like. You can see back here that it only comes with 1 cord. This particular cord is the center light, which is an LED. And that's what this is. It takes different electronics inside for the LED. That's why the different wiring. Your other 2 cords, you'll put light bulbs in these, which we'll do here in just a second. Your center cord will be plugged in with this right here in the middle. Super simple, super easy. We'll get to that as soon as we get up there. Again, like I said, if you're going to replace those screws, which we're going to do today, right here, those will go in your outside corners. Put it back together, piece of cake. Your light bulb for this, I got Sylvania brand, but you can get whatever brand. They're the 912 size. They just fit right in there. They're the blade end, so not the twist and turn. These are just the straight push-in light bulbs. You can put those in right now, in fact. These bulbs will then, you just push in to these holes, push and turn. They only go in one way. Push them in like that. You turn them down. Okay, make sure those are snug. And you've got your wiring and you're done. Okay, so as you can see with our new light, it comes with a little bit of foam weather stripping here, right here, that will sit on this outside piece that we've cleaned off to help prevent leakage. What I'm going to do to further protect that is, this is just some auto trim insulation, and super easy to use. This particular one comes obviously with an adhesive back, and what we're going to do is we're going to run it around here with this split back to add a little bit of an extra seal, and it'll just fit there, and we can just make it adhere there, and then the light will sit on top of there, and it'll help keep us watertight and prevent water from getting down in there. So we're going to slip that on quick. We'll be back, we'll put the light on, and we'll be done. Piece of cake. All right, as you can see, this fits down in there pretty good. Now, if you live in a northern climate, you're going to want to do this in temperatures that will be beneficial to promote adhesion, i.e. if it's 30 below, you're going to want to do this inside or wait until it's a little bit warmer out. But you can see there is nothing to this other than just getting the right piece of length of rubber and pulling the backing off as you put it on. Simple, simple, simple. Okay, so we've got our light. We've got most of that styrofoam that wants to stick on here. Static cling cleaned off. Got our lights on, got our lights plugged in, everything together. I didn't show you these little posts here. They just sink right in there if you have that. Keeps the wiring harness out of the way. And then we plug this same piece that we unplugged from the previous light back into the truck, and that just clicks into place. Pretty simple stuff. There, and it should snap into place once you've got it snapped in. And just carefully feed your wiring harness in there. Just make sure you're not pinching anything. There's lots of room under there, so it should be a piece of cake. It's all fit in place. Then you take your new screws, slide those in here. Once again, I would highly recommend not using any sort of powered drill, screwdriver, etc. You do not want to over tighten these, as it will crack that housing. And you'll be replacing this all over again, kicking yourself because you cracked the housing. So get them in there fairly snug, but not too snug. Okay, that should bring it down. And you have your new third high mount brake light in place, on, and ready to go. Piece of cake. Obviously, we better make sure that it works. So let's check that. Opening the door clearly lights up the outside ones. Pressing on the brake, lights up the brake. There we go. Another 15-minute garage project done. Thanks for joining us. Next time Street will be here. Later.